our minds are running, our lives are running, we're always on the move. The way to break that is not just quieting the mind, but also quieting the body. So stopping to move. So meditation, you're sitting and you're not moving. And that's a way to create a new pathway for existence.
Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome back and welcome to new listener to the Awakening Process 101 podcast. I'm Louise Severin, a Buddhist and yoga teacher, and I'm here with my best friend Pernilla Burke, who's a writer, photographer, and the founder of Awakening 101. And today we're going to discuss meditation, but the topics that we include in this podcast are, of course, everything around spirituality, emotional health and healing, and the meaning of awakening in a context of our modern lives. And today's episode, as I mentioned, we are having a conversation about the awakening process in meditation. And I know that this is something very close to both our hearts, but Pernilla is a true meditator. Can you say so? True meditator? I never used that word, but yeah, open your ears. Yeah,
that's my
open
practice.
Your ears, connect with your heart, and just enjoy listening to us, because this is going to be kind of a ride.
Where do we begin with this ginormous topic?
It's really, I don't know, but why don't we start with okay, let's start like this. Why is meditation important for you, Pernilla?
Wow. Okay, I think I'm just gonna let's just make it a one monologue for the next 45 minutes, because why is it important
for you? So for you.
For me, yeah. I think that I just hope that no one's going to be like, that mountain that you're talking about right now, it's something that I'm not going to dabble in. It's way too much. But I wrote a blog about this where I said, the title of it was My Friend Meditation. So if I look at it from sort of a macro perspective, what meditation is for me now is that it's a friend. It's something that I have in my life that makes me feel good and creates sort of a cocoon of nurturing, loving energy in my life on an everyday basis. Because the way that I was taught meditation from my teacher, Sally Kempton, was that meditation, that practice of meditation, is the doorway into an energy that is beyond our mind and beyond our thoughts. And that energy is all loving and all forgiving and infinite and is there all the time. It's just that we are so distracted, so caught up in our everyday lives and relationships and resentments that we can't, our human mind is most often incapable of looking beyond our mind. So when I use meditation or the practice itself, it's an opportunity for me to come back to this place where I can step into this field that is beyond my thoughts. And so for me, it is the thing that I felt like I was looking for. That place was what I was looking for my whole life. If you think about the sort of the wheel of awakening, this is my perspective, right? The things that I always felt that I knew that I was missing as a kid was the feeling that I was loved unconditionally, that somebody saw me and heard me, my existence as Pernilla, the small Pernilla, that somebody was there to see that I existed, which I felt like no one really did, right? I mean, this is a common thing for kids. We're like, hello, is anybody out there seeing me? Love and being heard and seen, and the feeling of being in the moment, like being present, right? Awareness is another one. This feeling that we we had a larger perspective on the things that are going on in our life. Like all of those things, and I'm just giving a little snippet there, are the things that I now, with being like, I've been meditating for longer periods of time, for about 15 years. I mean, before that it was snippets, but the practice that I have now has enabled me to know that all of those things are already existing within myself. It's the energy behind my mind that gives me that feeling of infinite love, feeling heard and seen, presence, awareness. So it's not something that I have to get anymore from somewhere else. I know that now that I can tap into it within myself.
But okay.
So, and that's the greatest gift you can give yourself.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about how to get there, and there are different methods, and I know you have your method and I have my chanting, which gives me also the sense of what you just talked about. But I want to ask you, when you have this, you describe it very, very nicely, and with this, tapping in behind and that energy and that, that love, the infinite love, and you don't really need it from anyone else, and it kind of cuts the ties of being codependent of everything. But do you ever,
the
the attachment,
attachments.
exactly. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the universal energy of being connected to something bigger and larger, and I want to talk about, do you ever feel alone? Like sometimes when can the meditation feel you like, okay, I really want to share this beautiful moment with someone else, or I want someone else to really understand it, or can there come a sense of loneliness into this, or was it like that in the beginning? I'm just curious about different questions that people have asked me as a teacher, and I want to hear.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it is
that's
very
interesting. I love that people
Mm,
ask you those questions. And for me, I don't ever feel lonely, because that energy that is meditation makes you feel
mm,
complete. I miss
mm,
people sometimes. Like if I'm traveling, I miss my husband or my kids. But loneliness doesn't is something that falls away from connection to that energy, and it's hard to understand when you
mm,
haven't tapped into it, because it's like, what are you
yeah.
even talking about? And for me, also the sharing of the experiences, it doesn't really work to bring my experience in a sharing by words, my experience, and somebody else is going to understand.
No, because they're going to create their own experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I feel is that the energy itself rubs off on people.
Mm,
So it's almost like we say in AA, it's like attraction rather than promotion. Like,
mm,
I can't promote my experience, my meditation experience. I can only be who I am
mm,
as a meditator, and have people feel that around me. And maybe that in the end will be something that they would say, okay,
mm.
maybe I should try this. So yeah, I mean, it's a friend, it's a gift. It's not where you feel apart from. It's actually helps you feel more connected to the people around you,
Mm.
and to the world itself.
In
Because
yourself, I would
yeah,
say, right?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I would say that meditation makes me feel
Complete.
less lonely,
Mm.
because because the, just bear with me here. If I'm stepping into that energy behind my thoughts, then I'm also stepping into the energy behind your thoughts.
Mm.
Because when I let go of my emotional sort of resistance to the world,
Mm.
then I I step into that space for you, and you're more connected to people,
Mm.
because you let go of, because we resist each other the whole day
Mm.
long, right?
Mm.
And that's when we feel lonely.
Mm.
Maybe we should think about these are some of the reasons why you would want to try it. But let's take it to a sort of a little bit more simpler level. Like when I started meditating, I was new in sobriety. I think I had like 5 or 6 years. And as you know, the 11th step, you talk about sought through prayer and meditation to have a closer contact to God. So I heard the prayer, the word meditation over and over and over again for years. And so somewhere along the line, after I had met Sally Campton, I started trying to meditate. So I would read page 89 from the Big Book of AA and sit on the floor and put my timer on 1 minute. And I've brought this up a gazillion times on this podcast, but I did that in the morning and I did it in the evening. And what I find too is if you're going to start a meditation practice, the most important thing is to do it exactly at the same time every day. Like, don't say I'm going to do it later. Say it's 7:30 a.m. I'm going to sit down for 1 minute, and at 7:30 p.m. I'm going to sit down for 1 minute. That's the most important, to do it exactly at the same time, because then it happens. If you say I'll do it before bed, and then you get too tired and you're not going to do it.
Exactly.
It can be 8 and 8, or it could be whenever you want, but just to the same time. But those 2 minutes, even then, when I was the most depressed, the most messed up, like in my relationships, they were just a disaster. That was one of the worst times in my life, when I was newly sober and very depressed. But it changed the way, it gave me just that 1 second of distance from the fragmentation of my mind. Just that 1 second of seeing and observing my thoughts rather than being my thoughts. And just because I did that 2 minutes a day, it made me feel that really, really mini second of that nurturing feeling that I was talking about earlier. And that kept me going, just to have that just moment of nurturing.
I started meditating already when I was on drugs, and when I was 18, and I was very, so, and of course, that was a difficult journey, because you can't really get into the space of your heart when you're full of different things in your body and your mind. And I would say that when I really got the true essence for me in meditation was when I started to chant. Like, chanting is an active meditation. And for me, it was really like I had cotton on my soul. It was really to coming, it was that. And I got that, also for just some few seconds. And then the mind comes saying different things, but the effect afterwards also. And I think also that's important, that what does meditation do to your state of life afterwards? Because it's not, you do the active thing, if that is sitting down in silence, or if it's to do walking meditation, or if you do the chanting. I mean, the for me, it's very much to really connect with the heart, and get, and that's the energy of infinite love, where you are behind the thoughts and your and
it's the same,
and your mood. It's the
just
same, exactly.
Word, yeah.
But I think in the beginning, it's also like the wave that you have afterwards, the rebound that comes. That was also something that I very quick understood, that okay, I need to do this, because then if I do it, then it gonna gives me even some more good moments during the day.
Yeah, and I think it's also like, it gives you an opportunity to know that you are not your thoughts, and you are not your emotions. You have emotions, but you don't have to be ruled by them. And chanting, the Buddhist meditation you do is an active meditation, just like you say, and it's the same thing for us yogis. I use a mantra, especially in the beginning. It's a silent mantra, but that, so that my mind kind of gets into like a focused way. So I have something to do with my focus to begin my meditation. What it does to your everyday life, it's so that you sit down, you have this practice where you are not attached to your thoughts. You start thinking about your thoughts and your emotions as a little bit separate from yourself. And and this is the whole movement of mindfulness is about this exact thing that we're talking about now. So that if you have a moment of feeling, okay, I'm not completely attached to this anger that I have at my husband right now, then it gives you an opportunity to make choices of how to react or how to think. Maybe I should ask him about this so I could understand him better. And it's the freedom of having that choice.
Freedom to be able to respond on the reaction.
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. And that's just one of the things that I think that meditation does, that it gives you a freedom to choose. And then there's all, the ability to focus, the ability to relax, the ability to actually breathe in a way where the breath is also a gift. Like, we don't breathe. Meditation puts that into a focus that, okay, I'm actually using my breath. Breathe in. I breathe hopefully all the way down to my abdomen. And the breath, and that's like a scientific, technological thing. Like, if we breathe deeper, we're going to relax because we're activating our parasympathetic nervous system. And that's why people say, I feel so relaxed. I've been meditating. I'm like, yeah, well, it's because you actually took several breaths or actual breathing, like we're supposed to, that we don't do.
Should we do a little guided meditation here?
Sure. Just close your eyes. And before we start, let go of your shoulders. Feel how you can let your shoulders just drape down your back. And give them a moment of peace. And then move your attention to the tip of your nose. Gently focus on the air coming in and out of your nostrils. Just riding the breath here at the entrance of the nostrils. Just ask yourself, where is my mind now? Notice that you're most likely a little bit more present than you were 10 minutes ago. Then gently follow the attention as you follow the breath into the back of your throat. Breathing in, breathing out. Into the middle of your chest. Into the belly. Just sit here for a moment. We'll count three breaths. In, out. In, out. In, Now, bringing your awareness back to your shoulders. Let them go again. You can slowly, gently open your eyes.
Thank you. So why don't I ask you, how do you feel now?
What?
What? How do you feel now?
I mean, it's like there are just no thoughts in there. And I think that it brings you or me into the present moment with you, right? So right now we're sharing a moment and we're not outside of this moment. We're not in the future. We're not in the past. We're right here, right now. And that's what meditation does. It just brings you into now so that we can connect on a deeper level.
Mm.
What about you?
And for me, it was very. I get into this space of freedom and really just totally relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I can also feel my physical life condition that I'm tired. So that's you know, it becomes a mirror of what's present, you know, within.
Yeah.
And I think also for me, when meditating on the breath, I very easily let go of the thoughts, and then
It's the anchor. Sally
it's
always calls it
exactly,
anchor.
yeah. We also always said that it's the anchor, and it is the way to get down into your body and to master your mind, and the bridge between life and death. So I think that if people are new to meditation, I think meditation, starting awareness on the breath, is pretty
It's the
good.
best.
It's the best
Yeah.
because
It
and
gives
then of course you can always fold it out bigger, you know, but then yeah,
you something to do.
yeah, it gives you good, like, to really focus on something, you know. It's
Mm-hmm.
and of course you can tap in and tap out, you know, but you can always come back to the anchor.
Mm-hmm.
So it strengthens your capacity of concentrate from
Mm-hmm.
time to time. And I think also our energy level now, I mean, I can feel it, and maybe the listener will also feel it. It's different than they were before. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, it's always nice to do short meditation in the start too, because it's, you become aligned with what's
Mm-hmm.
behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's very nice.
I'm like, we should just end now.
Yeah, we should,
We're
exactly.
done.
Now we're done. So that's now I have nothing
Yeah.
more else to say.
No, or just
It needs to
yeah.
be experienced. So,
Yeah.
but
I guess the two things that came to my mind is that Louise and I, we were party queens in nightclubs around the world. That was our life for a long time. And this idea that we're best friends and we've known each other since we were 4. And then Louise, when did you become a Buddhist? What year was it?
in 2003, right? I
Oh
got
my God.
introduced in 2003. Yeah, I've been practicing for 20 years.
You're just giving me goosebumps because that's when I met Sally the same year.
You kidding?
No.
Oh God, that's
So,
beautiful.
Louise was
Oh,
living in Norway when she started with her Buddhist
mm.
practice, and I was living in LA and going to yoga at City Yoga and on Fairfax, and that's where I met Sally Kempton, who
Did she come to Fairfax?
City Yoga, yeah,
She
yeah, she
did.
would come for do like workshops. That's where I met her. If you look at the spiritual timeline of your life, 2003 is when Louise's life changed. Like sobriety came earlier, and it's the same thing for me. Like that's when meditation was planted into my life, and it was never something that I intended to do. I thought if you told me when I was 25 and standing on a speaker dancing at like 6 o'clock in the morning that I would be this person who's sitting here meditating on a podcast with Louise at like 6:30 in the morning, I'd be
We
like,
were,
"You're
we,
nuts."
we were doing Save the Robot.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess why I bring that up is because it's not something that people put into the category of those that have grown up in an ashram or have been to India, or
Mm.
I think it is something that anybody can use, and at any level. It can be that 1 minute,
Mm.
and it will improve how you feel and how you operate in your
Mm.
life. And
I
that's
think
why we
that's so
continued.
important what you say. I think it's so important how
But
you
I mean,
feel and how to operate in it. Mm.
that's why we continued.
Mm.
People are like, "How do you have time?" I'm like, "Well, I make time because it's my
Exactly.
number one priority because it makes me feel good."
Mm.
And, in the beginning, of course, it's hard to sit with your thoughts, and it's like a mishmash. And also like don't think that meditation, you sit down and you shouldn't have thoughts, because that's never going to happen. They will always be there.
Mm.
What happens over time is that they don't become so like fragmented and difficult and uncomfortable to sit with. They become like little
Part
fluffy
of it.
clouds rather than like, this like roaring wave crashing on
Mm.
the on on the sea cliffs, like
Mm.
which they are in
Mm.
the beginning. They become like little fluffy clouds that
Mm.
move by, and they're always going to be there, but they
Mm.
become gentler to deal
Mm. Mm.
with time.
I think of something there that really helped me a lot, and I think of two qualities would help me in my meditation. And one, and especially when meditating on the thoughts and emotions, to be curious, to really
Mhm.
be curious and investigate, because it's so interesting when you becoming aware of what one thought can do to your whole system. Like a little thought can just come and put your whole system in. And that's what's so interesting with meditation. It's not to come on a pink cloud, because you can really go from one microsecond of being wow to completely a change, just of
Yeah.
that thought or a sound that came or whatever. And I think that of not to judge yourself or strive for anything specific, but really being curious of, okay, are going in with an open mind and open heart into this meditation. And the other thing is also to really be patient. Things are folding out that, you can't really, and I think you describe it so nicely, Pernilla, because just by starting to sit with whatever there is
Mhm.
a start and to your meditation.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that those 2 minutes that I didn't have a technique because it was so early on. So I just sat
mm,
there. Like I
mm,
didn't have a, a breathing practice or a counting or a mantra or anything. I
mm,
just sat there.
mm.
And also, like, I wouldn't have been able to maintain any sort of tech technique
Technique.
at that time because my mind it was like a
Mm,
volcano of
mm,
negativity.
mm.
So, it's, yeah, you say patience. I think that any type of sitting down and being with yourself, or walking in the woods and being with yourself, is going to change how you feel.
Mm,
Anything. So, the breathing practice will change how you feel
mm.
if you do 3 breaths. And it's like your goal doesn't have to be, "Oh, I'm going to sit there for an hour," because that's never going to
No.
happen, right? It's just giving yourself a little bit. And here, the practice that we did is something that I'll cut it out and put it into the bonus material. And how long was it? 2, 3 minutes?
Mm,
That's all you need.
mm.
And you can listen to that. I mean, guided meditations in the beginning are great.
Oh, great.
And that's why
It's
people use
yeah,
these apps like Insight
it's
Timer and
great.
Calm,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's great to have. I guess I really want to underline this idea that meditation can be a friend and a tool that is all your own,
Mm,
that is free, and that you can give yourself at any point. And you don't have to call anybody. You don't have to pick up a medicine. It's there for you, and it's a friend. And I think that sometimes we feel as if our thoughts and our emotions are not our friends because they make us crazy.
Mm.
So this is a way to handle or to like sort of massage your thoughts and your emotions into a place
Mm.
where you're
Mm.
more able to be in relationship with even the negative aspects of life. For me, that's one of the biggest things. Also, like it's not that I'm living this happy existence now that I meditate. It's just that I can feel what I have to feel in a more healthy way.
Mm.
So that when for example, a negative conversation doesn't stick with me for 24 hours.
Mm.
Meditation has given me the gift where I can have a thoughts that are negative, but they can be let go so that I can move into my day without staying in something negative that happened. If Louise, if you would say something like one or two things about what are some of the earlier gifts of your meditation, and then we should probably after that we should wrap
Yeah,
up.
we should wrap up. But I think today, and the world we live in, to get these small breaks where you just reflect a little bit of how am I doing, even
Mm,
that could be a little way of meditate.
mm,
Just to ask
mm,
yourself, if you stand up with a coffee machine and just, there's no one around you, just be grounded down in your feet. How am I doing? We so much in the autopilot and we forgot to arrive in our body. And I think that
mhm,
if we can start there, and then if you can bring it to sit down with it, maybe that's the second part of it. And then if
mm,
you
mhm,
getting in even deeper, then you can do the guided meditation with different apps or with us, or but see it as the most beautiful journey. In the end of the day, it is to improve the relationship with yourself.
yeah.
And when we are good with ourselves, we have just more love and care about our surrounding, and we don't get so pissed off for people cutting us off in the traffic. Yeah, but that's, and I
Yeah.
think that, and I hear this a lot from people around me. Oh, it's so selfish with yoga and meditation, and all you think about is you. But imagine that the meditation, as you say, becomes your best friend. But it's the meeting with yourself. You're so good
Mhm.
at having meeting with other people, but
But you
have a
become
meeting with
better.
yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
you become better at meeting others
yeah,
if
because
you're
you
a
better,
better
yeah,
have a better relationship with yourself.
yeah,
So it's not
absolutely.
selfish. It's actually a gift to everybody.
It's a gift to everyone, and I think that's kind of the code we need to. Then, of course, people, can get obsessed, but in the end of the day, it's about your connection to your heart and to your authentic self.
This weekend I watched a Thich Nhat Hanh video
Yeah.
about it was titled Stop Running, which is one of the podcasts we just published. And he talked about that we're our minds are running, our lives are running, we're always on the
Mm.
move.
Mm.
And the way to break that is not just quieting the mind, but also quieting the body.
Mm.
So stopping to
Mm.
move and watching our thoughts. So that's
Mm.
another thing. Like if we, because we're always on the move physically. So meditation, you're sitting and you're not moving. And that's a way to like create a new pathway for
Mm.
existence so that you
Well, I would
can
say that is the
shift.
pathway of existence, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a new way of being in the world
Mm.
because if we can slow down our body, slow down our mind,
Mm.
I mean, in the end, our well-being will be improved. I
Mm.
know
Mm.
that. I mean, that your walking meditations in the forest, I think people feel it immediately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you
It's
walk slowly, so it's still a meditation. It's not like you're
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
power walk
Yeah, but and as
with
yeah,
my
and
phone.
and it's interesting to see like some people are just rushing off there, but people are not even aware of how does it feel for the body when we walk. Actually, you in a split second, you're actually on 1 feet. We don't even register
No,
how it
no
is
one
to
does.
walk, knowing that every time you put down the foot, there is vibrations going through your body, which also affects you. So it's really it's really interesting to see how people are working with it. And I
Time to
think,
wrap up.
yeah, we need time to wrap up. And I actually want to do this because I don't want this to sound complicated or now we've been meditating for 100 years and stuff like that. It's like each meditation is different. It's like a breath. If you listen to this, you probably have some kind of meditation practice already. But what we have talked about today, I think, is really how to just take these breaks and a moment of connecting with where am I, how am I doing, what's going on, and try to lean into what's ever behind.
And also, I would say, if you haven't tried the 1 minute twice a day, try it.
Yeah.
And then,
And try it for how many days? 21 days? Would you say that?
no, that's too much. Just try it.
Just try it.
And then you go to the next level. And if you have questions, you can email me, Pernilla, Pernili at awakening-101.com, and I'll answer your questions about how to do it. What did we cover? We did a meditation practice.
We did a meditation practice. We talked about the benefits of meditating. We talked about why it's important. We talked about different ways of how to get access to meditation. And that's about it, I think.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. My name is Pernilla Burke, and this is Louise Ewell, and we're the Awakening Process 101 podcast, and we're so grateful that you listened to us today. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.